welcome back to my creative space. It's lovely to have you here again on a really beautiful spring day. It's just lovely. It's sunny out there, there's flowers coming up in the garden, there's suddenly primroses and daffodils and hazel little, what do you call them, catkin things dangling. They're like, honestly, they look like Christmas lights the other day. The sunshine was on them and they're this sort of luminous, light, lovely yellow colour. And I discovered recently, apparently you can eat them, but I have to say, I'd rather just look at them on the bush. They're just so pretty. And after a long, sort of gloomy winter, I don't know about you, but we've had quite a lot of rain this winter. Been a lot of very grey days. So to have glorious sunshine this afternoon is just lovely. It did rain this morning, and when I was down here working, and I decided I would wait and see if I could get a better light for doing some of my videoing. And it's paid off because it's absolutely lovely outside this afternoon, and I am going to get out for a walk and blow away the cobwebs. I think when you're cooped up all the time, it's just lovely, isn't it, to get out and have a walk. Just something simple. I don't go very far necessarily, and I actually do the same walk just about every day because I always see something different. It's quite surprising, isn't it, what you can see when you go out and about in your local environment, wherever you are. Even when I lived in towns, I've always found somewhere to go and have a walk. I love being out in nature. I don't know about you, but it's one of my greatest relaxants is to go outdoors every day if I can. If the weather's really atrocious, then maybe I might think twice. But I was out there in my full waterproofs yesterday because it was raining again, and it's fine. You know, you just get on with it, don't you? Just get out there and do stuff. So I'm really quite. It's a bit of a surprise video this week in that it's. I kind of wasn't sure what I was going to do this week, and I decided gently and easily and slowly I would just continue with this piece. I thought maybe you might be fed up with it by now and had enough of looking at this same yellow and blue stuff, but actually because it's changed and because I started doing these seagulls last week, I thought, well, I would just continue with that because it would be really good to get this piece finished. I've got quite a few things going on at the moment, and I've obviously got a bit of this exhibition actually in April. Kick-off is in April till June, and I need to get my skates on now and get things actually completed. So that's my intention, is to get on with this today. So I'm excited to show you the ideas I've been having and see where that's going to take us. It's lovely to have an exhibition because it does give us a focus as a group. We work independently, but we come together to do this. And this one, we're actually producing a group piece together, so we're all working on an individual piece of work that's going to go together to make one whole sort of thing. It's a vista, if you like, and so I'm really excited. That's the next piece I've got to get on with, and it's going to be very different to this because these are kind of my free pieces. This one we're working to a particular theme, and it's going to be very interesting to see how everybody else's work turns out as well, because isn't it interesting when you see other people's work? Even if it's like when you give children a project, isn't it, and everybody does something different, and I think that's the same in any group, I suppose, because we're all individuals, and that's the joy, isn't it, of working with other people. You get things pulled together, but you actually have your own individual take on it. So it's, as I say, it's the first time we've actually done it like this, so I'm really thrilled to see what it's gonna be like. So I think let's get on with this. Let's see what these seagulls are what's gonna happen to them today, and let's just get on. Okay, so I'm just making myself a little tiny sample again here, like I did last week, just so I can see whether my idea is going to work. So I'm basically embellishing all these little bits of fabric onto the net. And you can see on the back where it's kind of poking through. So I'm going to take that over to my sewing machine next and just do a little bit of stitching on it and see if I like the effect. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with some stitching, but we're just going to give it a go and see what happens. Whether I bring it down here or whether I do grey onto the grey. Or whether I do white, just on the white. Maybe I do it like this. So it's very rough and ready, but I think just by doing that little bit of a sample has made me work out how I want to do it, so that's quite good. I'm going to change my thread and put a grey thread on now. So we'll just do a little bit of grey stitching now. Right, so I think we'll take it over and have a little close look at this and see what we think. Okay, so this is the sample I made at the end of my last video that I just showed you a little bit of me doing. And what it's got some tearaway stabilizer under here, and it's got some of the cotton curtain interlining, and then I just put some fabrics down and did some very simple stitching on it. And it's fine, but I don't really like it. And I don't know why. I can't tell you why I don't like it, I just don't like it. So I think it's possibly because it's really very shiny, and I don't know, I don't like these lines on it. It's too sort of prescriptive, if you like. It's not got enough sort of rough wildness to it. Now there's a thing. So I'll show you the little sample I've made, the second sample I've done, and you can see completely different. And although I quite like the idea of this being a contrast to the background that I've got, the beautiful textured background, I think that this is much more in keeping with the way that I'm working at the moment. It's a little bit soft and flexible. I might have to think about how I'm going to strengthen it a bit, but you can see how useful it is just to make yourself a little sample, because that's you know, it's evolved. It's gone from that to this, and I really like it. Embellishing it down has made the difference. It's allowed me to blend the fabrics again and to give this sort of feeling of sort of shadow and shade on the bird. And it's also making me think about my edges. What I didn't like about this as well was it gave me this very defined edge, and I couldn't decide, you know, you could actually be sculpting that, you could scissor that up, couldn't you? You could cut it into little sort of feathery shapes, but again it was just too sort of staid, I don't know, too fixed. Whereas this has got a lot more freedom going on with it, and I was thinking, well, what you can do actually is you can keep your edges fairly rough, and you can just be knocking back the, you know, you can be shaping it kind of like this, and somehow, I mean, that's not a bird's wing shape, but I'm just showing you cutting the edge. Somehow that fits in better, and there's not going to be a sort of a fixed straight edge. There's going to be sort of flexibility to it. What I might have to do is perhaps put a second piece of net on the back when I stitch it. That's a possibility. And I don't think I need to put the wadding on, but I'm not sure, because I'm not sure how I would do that at this point. Lots of questions. It's interesting how when you make a little sample like this, it helps you move your process forward. I think I highly recommend it, because it just allows you time to think without the fear of actually working on the shape, if you like. I'm not working with this shape right now, but I can be taking this shape and putting it on and using it to cut round, making it, you know, using it as my pattern piece. But not yet. I'm not ready for that yet. But it's allowed me to evolve and move it forward. So I've got a much better idea of what I want to do. So this is the shape that I'm aiming for, okay? And what I want really is for the bird to look as simple as this, really, but obviously with the textured fabrics on and the stitch as the sort of finished surface. And it's very interesting. Yesterday I was in town getting my tire tracking done on the car, because we'd had a tire fixed at the weekend, and above me, as I came out of the tire place, I'm not kidding, there was a right racket going on above me in the sky, and it was a group of jackdaws and a huge wheeling crowd of seagulls. I've never seen quite so many in the middle of our town centre, this is, and it was amazing, the noise, and the jackdaws were obviously having a bit of an altercation with the seagulls, but it was like my eyes were just drawn to these seagulls and the shapes of them and how they were moving in the sky, and it was just brilliant. It was like the universe just gave me this fantastic gift and said, this is what seagulls look like. So it was amazing. So I'm showing you this because I thought, well, we'll put both of these onto here so you can see them actually against that. Now, what straight away I notice is this is very, obviously very, what's the word? It's opaque, isn't it? There's no light coming through that. So that's kind of what I want to achieve. I actually quite like that one, actually, on the shape of the seagull there, like that, actually. it actually does something for me, and I'm just wondering whether actually, perhaps if I put it on there, perhaps that's the thing to do, so we can compare them. And there's a quality to this which I do quite like. Ooh, but I'm just wondering, I think it's a bit shiny. It's possibly a bit shiny with these bits. I quite like it as a contrast against this. You'll have to let me know in the comments what you think. And so now I just really don't know. I'm going to have to play around a little bit more and have a little bit more of a fiddle. Okay, so back to the drawing board, as it were. So we've decided we're not making it like that, but we are kind of thinking about how to turn this sort of floppy thing into something that's got a bit more heft, shall we say. So what I've done is I've actually layered this one up. This one's layered up differently to the first one. So I've got this tearaway stabilizer on the back, I've got a piece of the wing fabric, the wadding, and then I've got the net on top of that. So what I'm thinking is to make a piece with the embellished surface ready on the net, and then I'm maybe going to cut this into the right shape and just apply it on there. And what I might do is actually I might well stitch it from the back, because I've got to try and create this lovely shape. And I do actually, funnily enough, I quite like it being cut a little bit, so it might be a mixture of being cut tidily and maybe just being allowed to be a little bit more sort of random, perhaps. Maybe allow it to be like that at the bottom edge. That's suddenly become the top edge, I don't know why, but it has. So yeah, lots of thoughts still to have, but I think that's an improvement again, and this is where faffing about with it and doing a bit of sampling before I actually set to on this, it's just helpful. Sometimes I know what I'm doing, sometimes I just work with what comes, and this is how it's evolved for me, and I think the sampling process has been really helpful for this one. I think that's looking much better. If I put the two together like that, I just feel this is more. But then again, when I look at them both, I think I like them both again. Goodness me. Yeah, so it's interesting that it's a different, it's like everything, isn't it? You can make choices in life. Ah, that's what it is. Make choices and you have to go with that choice, and that is the choice you make. There are aspects of this which I really do like, and there are aspects of this which I really do like, but I feel as though this is going to be a much freer way of doing it. I'm going to get into much less trouble over this bit if I just keep it very, very simple like that. This has got too much definition going on, I think. But again, it's all about making choices, isn't it? What your eye sees and what pleases your eye may not be what pleases mine. So, you know, again, let me know in the comments what you think. So next stage is to get a piece made that's going to fit that, and we'll take it from there. I am getting there though. Inch by inch, I'm getting there. Okay, so this is my seagull, and I think it's almost finished. I need to work on the beak area a little bit. I'm not terribly happy with that at the moment, but I'm going to have a fiddle with it. I'll show you the back. You can see very, very simple stitching, just holding it all together with all the layers, and I've trimmed very carefully around it, but I've left fabric showing so that we don't see the underneath structure, if you like. What I'm loving is we can, we can arrange them on here any way we want, and they've got a flexibility, but they've got a strength, so they can actually look like they're kind of moving. They could almost even just be hovering like that in some fashion. I had thought possibly you could even hang them suspended in front of the picture and they could just be flying free, which would be quite fun to do. So the other seagull, what I'm liking is how you can just arrange them in whatever direction you want them to be flying in, as though they're wheeling around in the sky like the ones I saw in town the other day. So I'm quite pleased. I love the texture of it. I've so enjoyed sewing it. That last little bit on my sewing machine was just lovely. I felt as though I'd done all of this work, and this has been like the icing on the cake to do this bit. It's just lovely. I love the way it's all just soft and a bit fluffy down here, and nothing's too defined, I don't think. I wanted this feeling of swooping and movement, and almost like you can't tell really exactly what kind of bird it is in a way, apart from, the size and the shape. And it's over the sea, so that's a bit of a clue, isn't it? So thank you so much for your patience in following me with this piece. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your lovely comments that you leave me. Let me know what you think of it, and we will see what's going to happen next week. If you'd like to join me again in my creative space, that would be absolutely wonderful. I'll see you again very soon. Have a good week. Bye for now.